Alright, welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Renew. I realized I was trying to make a short video, but then I ended up yapping the whole time. So go ahead and check out the Mercury Retrograde gap session. With that being said, let's get to our retrograde reading. So, Mercury Retrograde, I did a whole bunch of yapping about that already. Whole bunch of shuffling and all that good old fun stuff. So with that being said, I'm probably not going to yap. We're going to jump into this reading. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. But if you want to get to the actual reading, skip ahead always. But with that being said, here's some channeled messages for you, aka a yap. I don't really know what's going on outside of Mercury retrograde. I feel like there's some extra energies floating around, but Mercury retrograde is stories. It's just you reflecting on stories. And so those introverted people who don't like to talk, those are people who are constantly thinking. These are people who are reflecting and going over scenarios in their head. So you might be doing the same thing, but because you don't understand all your stories all the time, you probably have a situation in your mind that is stemming from a physical action, or maybe an experience, or maybe an emotion, or maybe just floating thoughts coming into your mind. So the idea is you got to reflect. You got to do something to make you go backwards, or you got to do something now to stimulate some old shit from the past to come back in you. I was talking about discipline and in the yap session, and discipline is, for me, is doing the things you don't want to do now in order to get the things that you want later. And so because I haven't been able to really like step into that aspect, because again, I haven't had the direction of where I need to gain more discipline, it comes down to the idea of allowance, again, and acceptance. And that is what I need to discipline. I need to discipline my aspects of allowing and accepting things. And it's funny because I allow and accept certain things completely, but that's the problem. I don't want to allow certain things anymore. And I don't want to accept certain things, but I have to. I have to. And I have to figure out a way to do that acceptance while at the same time doing the disciplined work to remove that aspect of me not liking or wanting it. So we're gonna see what else we can get from this this reading today, from this Mercury retrograde energy that we got going on. Again, I hope you guys are doing well. Let's get going. So what's our overall energy for this Mercury retrograde period? Alright, so we got two cards. So this is exactly pairing up with the discipline. So taking on responsibilities and burdens will lead you to this energy here. Or maybe you've already been taking responsibilities and burdens, but at the end of the day, it's going to lead you to the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, luxury. And that's kind of what's been on my mind. Like, I have a new ambition. I realized that I do like cars a little bit more than what I thought I did. As I was meditating, I realized that one of my first games that I used to play when I was a kid was Need for Speed. And all I ever wanted was the little wheel to go with my game. So that just is bringing me back up. I remember my favorite car growing up. I always wanted a yellow Corvette. And it's just like I was always around people who just never wanted to proliferate dreams like that, you know. So for me, that's what my dream is now. I'm gonna I have my wishes to manifest a specific type of car for myself, and then, like the little child in me said, keep it. Get it and keep it. That is the whole thing, because I gotta change the idea of allowing all things to just come and go. Some things need to stay. And this is, it's funny because chemistry works the same exact way. If I want this, I can't let all the money flow out. if you want abundance, you gotta keep some of the abundance, and then you gotta train and discipline that abundance to work hard somewhere else. This is like us working hard for our money. We're working hard, we got the money, but then we just spend the money, so we don't put the money back to work. So again, very common in the financial world. This is basic financial literacy, but you want to buy assets, and you don't want to just save up money. The money that you save should be working, and that is the idea of redisciplining ourselves during this retrograde. We got to figure out new things to do with the old things that we have. We don't want some of the old shit, so we got to discipline ourselves to view the old shit in a new way. We got to be resourceful with how we use the shit that we got. And so for me, that's funny. For me, a lot of that resourcefulness is going to come from doing things that I just really don't want to do. Like, I never really been a fan of TikTok, but I get the most views and traction on TikTok, and I post just the same as I do on the other socials, except for here. And so I was also talking about how, oh man, I hate that the world just wants to see bullshit. Like, one of the things I really hate is the fact that I keep seeing the same old sounds and the plays and things that are being utilized, and everyone keeps lying. I got 2,500 subscribers by using this fucking 6-second clip of a sound. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of lies. I'm sick of bullshit. I'm sick and tired of all of the things that we don't need, because if we just disciplined ourselves for the right shit, again, the right shit, but nobody wants to do the right shit, but everybody will be in abundance if we did the right shit. Give me more on this 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. Clarify that thing. Actions. So, actions on actions. That's what I like to see this as. And then we got the Lovers card down here at the bottom. So, the burden is disciplining ourselves between ourselves and our masculine and feminine energies. We got to learn to take our mindset and take the ideas of our mindset being separate and putting those separate things into action. Now, again, the reason why they got to stay separate is in a family or two-parent household, you got a mom and a dad and then a child. Again, that's the scenario I gave in my YAP session. And if the dad allows the mom to leave because he's not doing something, that is again, movement, but it puts on more responsibility. Same thing, if the mom isn't doing things to keep the dad there, then that will be an incomplete system because dad is not there anymore. More responsibilities and burdens. So the idea is, in order to tell and show the kid how to be responsible as a person who's securely attached, mom and dad both need to take the responsibilities and the actions at hand. So if we was to cut this card in half, we would see that that's always going to lead us into conflict. The Five of Wands is conflict, but the idea is we have to be the transverser of the conflict. We have to be that odd man out, strategizing against the four in the Royal Rumble. You got to be the one who can maintain all of those lustful, primal energies as a man or as a woman, and discipline those energies to where no one has to carry these burdens by themselves unless you choose so. And then, because you're a team, you are already carrying those burdens together because you have what you call a family. So imagine family as you as a whole person. You as a person is a family to your own self, and you got to make sure you're taking the proper actions for your responsibilities for your family, which will lead you to a luxurious lifestyle. Tell me about the Nine of Pentacles. Tell me about the Nine of Pentacles. So now you got, do some shit online. That's what I heard. Do some shit online. So I was talking about TikTok, but the idea is, as you discipline yourself, you got to discipline yourself on things that you don't want, bro. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. But that's where the discipline comes in. That's why we put a new name on it. I don't want to do it, but I know it's good for me. That's a lot to say, so just say, I'm disciplined. That is the idea behind this, because again, now since I have a few visions of what I actually want, I think I can share. I want disposable income. I want a brand new car. And I want to be able to maximize my life that I'm living with a new car, with disposable income, and still do what the fuck I'm doing. If I can have disposable income and still do Instacart, that will be an amazing thing for me, because at the end of the day, I would have that new car that made me happy. I would have the disposable income to stop anywhere and hop on another roller coaster, right? I would still be disciplined in my work that I'm doing that I enjoy, again, making me humble. And then I would be disciplined in the aspect of I'm putting in work in another way. And all of these things is making me abundant enough to where I can continue to live the life that I'm living, but at a way higher threshold. Give me an in-betweener. Give me your clarifier for all of these things together. Glue it together for me. So, you got to start saving up. You got to start holding on to the things that hurt, holding on to certain things and then letting things go. Again, I like this card because all the things that you're touching, those are the things you should hold on. And then the things that is touching you, you have to be open to those changes. So, to me, I see this as networking. But it's not networking with people. It's networking with the aspects of yourself that are changing and moving. All right, what is this Knight of Wands moving towards or moving from? Tell me about this Knight of Wands. Again, this retrograde energy is what we're trying to understand. And with this energy, what we need to be understanding already is that we need to hold on to certain things that we value, and we need to allow things to value us just as much. I just had an epiphany. Like, again, from the Yap session, I just hate putting stupid shit out on the internet. Pointless things for no reason, things with no purpose. But it has a purpose. It's to entertain people. Just like when I'm engaging kids in the classroom, it has a purpose to entertain people. But we still get down and we still put our work in and we actually do extra work. The thing is that this retrograde period wants you to reflect on all of those situations where you can do it over here, but you can't do it over there. You have to put that shit together. Give me on the Knight of Wands. Give me one on the Knight of Wands. Help a brother out. So, boom. Five of Wands came out. So like I said earlier, we got the Sun, we got the Five of Wands, and then we got the Four. This Four always tells me, again, since we're really in retrograde, you gotta really understand that this here is telling you to stop sleeping on the talents that you have. Stop sleeping on those. Who cares about all the previous trophies that you hang up? Your trophies and medals of the past. Fuck those. You have a unfound trophy beneath you. You're sleeping on yourself. This sleeping on yourself is all of these parts, the four previous trophies, all the victories from the past, all the accomplishment that you're trying to ride on. You're recalling and reflecting upon it. But you need to go into these reflections with an idea of, I am now not causing you guys to fight. I'm taking over. It's mine now. Again, this is a sword, a thought, but this is an action. So the things that you've been sleeping on, like me diving into TikTok, now, again, if I take the action, I can probably take out all of these different strategies, these different means of moving and interacting with the world. If I have to keep it in line with this page energy, it might be YouTube, that might be TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, and X. I post on LinkedIn more than X. So LinkedIn. But now I'm coming in saying, boop, 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 boop. It's all about TikTok now. And then guess what? That should lead you to the sun, but that's not going to be without responsibilities. But when you discipline yourself through these actions and responsibilities, by making sure you're holding on to the things that you need and letting go of the things that you don't and allowing things to hold on to you, you'll be led to this Nine of Pentacles. All right. What more can we say? So whenever these cards fall out like this, god damn.
I really need a better credit score.
Sorry about that. So what this says to me, whenever I see these cards like this, that means you're in a loop. So you've been satisfied and then you've been unsatisfied with what's going on. So that's what you're reflecting on. You're reflecting on why you're satisfied with certain things and why you're not. Again, why are you okay with having these 3 pentacles instead of rocking towards the 9? Why are you satisfied? Again, there's parts of you that are okay with this, but then there's other parts of you that are not. That is the idea of us needing to reconcile both sides of our duality. You gotta have your mom's side and your dad's side and you on the same team as a family. And so the fact that we got this emotional cup here, I think that's what it is. We are changing the emotions that make us feel satisfied. Again, if you like to eat and you spend all your money on food, change what food you eat. And then I might change how you spend your money. If you go out to a fancy ass restaurant and spend $500 on a rock lobster tail, and then you can't eat for the rest of the month, that might make you change. Again, you are happy and satisfied, but at the end of the day, where did that lead you? Or let's take it a bit further and more modern. What if you always go out and eat modernly? Right? Modern foods, regular shit like McDonald's, Denny's, IHOP, Jobilees, whatever. But then guess what? You start doing food shit. So now you're recording your meals and things like that. Maybe that might give you a new emotional aspect, even though beforehand you would say, I hate motherfucking foodies on TikTok. The idea is you are in a loop right now and you are able to see the bad side and the good side. Your satisfied side, but then your greed. You can see both. What else can we see? You know which actions to take. So a lot of the actions that you want to take, you already have them. But guess what? This ace and that ace aren't working together. That's it. I think that's the only thing. You have not come into alignment. So this Mercury retrograde period is us trying to find alignment with the emotional actions we need to take. The emotional actions we want to take. Taking these emotional actions will take us through the 5. Again, the 5 of Pentacles is not a bad, scary card like a lot of people like to say. Yes, you don't have all the material abundance, but guess what? The 5 of cards says, or the 5 of Pentacles says that your internal aspects are 100% intact. So just because you don't have it on the outside doesn't mean you ain't got it on the inside. And that's why in the 6 of Pentacles, the only thing that you're doing is just sharing with everybody. Because you got it like that. But the only reason why you got it like that is because you knew you had it like that. So as we're reflecting on these, on our previous dissociated selves, on our multitude and multivariable versions of us, we have to start to pay attention to our internal compass. Make sure that you are good regardless of the situation. Again, for me, one of the longest standing things that I've ever wanted was a relationship and a family and that place to call home. Why? Because I never felt home. I never had a chance to securely attach to anything in my home outside of my 2 grandparents. Again, and I don't really recall them too much because I was so young and now I'm so old, relative to those time frames, and then I had so much bullshit in between. I need to reflect on what held me together and then what separated me. And that is this Mercury retrograde period, this session. This class session that is now coming in, especially with it being in Leo, we have to start to pay attention to ourselves as the star. We need a stage though. We need a place to be. We need a place to exude. And you can't do it over here and over there any longer. You can't do it in both places. You must be focused and dedicated and disciplined in order to do these things. But you can't be in two places at once. So we have to decide how to come together. How do we become a whole? At least in this regard over here. Because again, we're already going to find separation again. Life is going to create separation. But you must decide how to reconcile your differences. Give me a clarifier on these two, please. These loops. Clarify these loops. I rest my case. This card is all about knowing the balance. We got victory at the bottom of that too. We know the balance. We got the blueprint. We got the plan. The only thing is you haven't taken action. But it's because there's emotions that's not letting you take action in the way that you want. Again, I've been dedicated here doing this YouTube. I've been dedicated. I've been doing my thing. But again, it has been moving slow. That's cool. I haven't even expressed everything that I want to. That's cool too. But again, the alignment behind what I'm doing now might work better in a different place, because all the same videos that I post on this platform, I posted on those other 4 platforms too. And again, TikTok is the one that is stepping up. Every video except for one, and that was the very first one, because I didn't have no tags on there, but every video that I have posted on there has at least 500 views. The same exact videos over here barely has less than 10. So as reluctant as I am to go over here and do something new, or excuse me, do something old but in a new place, again, the map internally has already been showing me. I have all the confirmation that I need. So for you, you already have all the confirmation that you need. You know what you need to be doing, but you're reluctant to do it because of this or because of that. You got some bullshit inside of you that's saying some excuse to let the shit go by you, to let these things pass you by. And you are okay with that. But then the other side of you is like, but I want this, I want this, I want this. But you just let go the things that will allow you to get there. So you have to start to pay attention to these things internally, because if these things are draining you and they're not bringing you light, even the efforts that make you feel good still might be a drain to you. It still might be overburdening you, although it feels good. Just like drugs, man. Drugs to make you feel good, but that shit's destroying you. Alcohol sounds good until you are fucking got brain rot. These things are paradoxes, is what people would say. But it's a paradox to have a retrograde in the first place. No planet is going backwards, so it's your perception. Which you need to check out that song from Dolo the Pilot, man. Again, it's on the Yap session. That album, again, it's Draco is what it's called. He has a song on there, Perception. It's talking about musical artists, but at the end of the day, it's applied to anything. Your perception upon the things is what will change what you got going on right now and take you even to the 10. So let's get our final message. What's our final message? How about that? How about that? So, our final message here, man. our final message today says we got the Ace of Cups with the Ten of Swords. What this is saying is that you now have this retrograde period is going to give you the emotional capacity to tell yourself a new story, and of this story is going to give you strength. But again, when you say it like that, you got to say it like this. Your newfound emotions will give you the strength to overcome the things that made you weak, the things that make you desolate, the things that murder you, the things that do these things for your mental health, your emotional health, that eventually leads to your physical and spiritual health. Those stories of the past, these people's opinions, your old opinions, reflect upon all of that from an emotional standpoint. Right on cue. So again, what we're doing during this retrograde period is using the strength that we currently have to take it to places that we don't have any longer, but these places have areas within us. These places have areas inside of us. These swords that you hold in different parts of your body, again, different parts of your body is holding on to these different stories. You now have the strength. You have the strength to overcome these weaknesses. In other words, to allow new emotions to flow through those areas. And guess what? It ain't gonna be easy. The tower moment is down there. So you might have to go look back at some good shit and say, damn, that was bad actually. You might have to go back and look at some things that you love to do and say, damn, I gotta stop doing it with some strength. It's actually making me weak. So a lot of the things that you got going on right now, they are going to need and require a new perception. But a perception is of the mind. So that's a new story. I don't think you need to make a new story. I think you need to tell yourself a new story so you can create a new perspective. Perspective is an emotion. You have a disposition on the world based upon your perception, but that is calculable. That means if you get new information, that perception could change. Your perspective is so much harder. Again, you can change your environment over and over and over and over and over. But if you still feel the same way, your environment will still show you the same things. You must not treat perception and perspective as the same. They're not. Perspective is the denominator. It denominates everything, your feelings. Your perception is changeable. It's the numerator. This is the idea of having improper fractions, mixed fractions, and regular proper fractions. The top number can change. The bottom number remains. So if you really want to change this story, you got to change your feelings about the story. But if you're looking at changing the feelings and you got a bad feeling about something, try to see what it feels like to have a good situation about it. And if you got a good situation about it, try to see it as a bad. Again, put it in perspective for the YAP session. If you are a two-parent household and then you become a one-parent household and it's just a mom now, how is that a good thing versus a bad thing? And then you got to apply it to the other side. From a two-parent household and then now I'm just a dad, how does that create positivities and how does that create negativities? Again, think about the child in the middle who has to see the discord, the chaos, who has to see the tower. The child has to see the tower. It doesn't matter. The child doesn't give a fuck. It had two and now it got one. Doesn't matter to them. It ain't the same. So you have to understand that because that's already happened to you, it's already happened. The retrograde period is allowing us to go back and try to find some truth through a benefit. Again, where is God's blessing in that tower moment? Where is God's blessing in that stressful situation? Where is God's blessing in this terrible position? Where is the blessing? So, I think that is good. I'm going to name that Retrograde. Where's the blessings? That's what you guys got to go do. Go find your blessing by changing your perspective or your feelings about the thoughts that you have. Peace.